Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to throw a punch. This is the punch that I find most effective for most of your common situations that you're going to run into. So the first thing you do with your punch is you have to make a fist. So to make your fist, you're going to curl each of your fingers into your hand and then put your thumb on top. Now this is a big difference than a lot of styles have, because a lot of styles will actually tell you to put your thumb on the side here. So the reason I actually prefer the thumb on top rather than the thumb on the side is for two reasons. The first being is if you throw a punch and then you miss and you catch it on that thumb, then the thumb can actually break. Whereas with the thumb on top, if I catch it there, it's braced behind the rest of my fist. Therefore, I'm at less risk of breaking it. With the thumb on top, you can use that also as a weapon. So when you get into more advanced techniques, you can also utilize that thumb as a weapon rather than just the fist. What you're going to be striking with is your top two knuckles. So whenever you throw your punch, you want to be hitting with the top two knuckles because the bottom knuckles are actually weaker and are actually at risk to break if you use a strong force on those knuckles. Right? So with our punch, it's actually going to be a vertical punch. So rather than horizontal, it's going to be vertical. The reason we do this is because in a lot of styles where you have deep stances, your body mechanics does work better if you do a twist punch. However, in many situations you're not going to be able to get into a deep stance. You're going to have to utilize the space that you have and make your stances work for you. That is why we teach more short stances rather than long stances. Say you're on the bus or in a room, an office, a confined space. Most of the time you're not going to have a big open field to fight in or a big open ring to fight in, so you have to learn how to utilize that space. And so that vertical fist just works well for close range fighting. I want you to remember to just target at the solar plex. So what your solar plex is if you follow your ribs up to where they meet up here, you're going to feel a little soft spot. If you just kind of give it a light poke, you'll feel like, hey, that doesn't really feel right. So if you actually punch somebody there, it actually makes them lose their breath. They try to suck in a bunch of air and then they can't, and it kind of incapacitates them so that they can no longer attack you. That's where you want to be punching, is at the solar plex height. Now as you see, what I just did there is with our punch, you want it to start at your hips. Think back to a high school physics class. So there's the equation 1/2 mv squared. M meaning mass and velocity meaning how quickly your speed changes. So a lot of times you're going to see people punching like this. So you're going to see people punching like that. Whenever they do that, their mass is not working with them because they're basically just using the mass of their arm, right? So whenever you throw your punch at the hip, you're using the mass of your entire body because everything is close in. And also, if you throw a punch like this, your opponent is much more likely to see it and then they can defend against that. Whenever you make contact, you want to do a slight downward tilt of the wrist. What that does is basically just lines up all the tendons and bones and things like that so you don't hurt your wrist. Otherwise, and I've done it many times before, you hit something and then twist your wrist and it hurts. The way to practice this, just have your feet shoulder length apart, both hands at your hips, and then punch, 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 and you just want to get really good at that. That way you can utilize both hands and find a target to hit as well. So, find a punching bag or something like that so that you can really work on it. where he talked about velocity. In layman's terms, that sort of goes towards speed, at least what we think of as speed. So another good way to practice this, once you get really good at the hip rotation and the targeting, to just see how fast you can do it. Work the speed up as you go. So thanks for watching. Leave any comments or questions that you have below, and I'll be happy to address them.